Hey guys, we're going to talk about this tsumbay clock, radio, Bluetooth speaker, all-in-one combo they sent me. And, it's funny because like some people are kind of like, why do you review all this Bluetooth stuff? But in the end, when I look at my affiliate reports, Bluetooth stuff actually really sells. You guys are actually buying it, which is kind of cool, because in the end, we're here to review gear, but when I find something you guys actually buy, it's nice. It's a little vindicating for me to know that I'm kind of matching up things that you guys need and want. So with all that said, this thing is kind of a cool little thing. This is a USB powered clock, radio, Bluetooth speaker, all combined into one. And it also has some other cool features as well, and that it has an aux in, so you can hook this up to your iPod or whatever, and room for an SD card so you can play MP3 players directly from it. Now this thing is, as I mentioned, USB powered. You're just going to plug it into the back, and you can plug it into a wall, your phone charger, or a power bank or anything like that, so it gives you that little bit of versatility. I've had this thing running for 8 days now, with the display off, of course, and this still has tons of juice, no problem there. Only complaint I have is that I don't know how to convert this from military time to regular, and I don't know how to convert from centigrade to Fahrenheit. I'm not sure if that's even a possibility. I don't mind military time. I did security work for years and years, and you just learn to deal with military time. It doesn't bother me any. So yeah, running this thing is pretty simple. You're literally just gonna, and it's already paired to my phone, so it's kind of, I had it like accepted as a trusted device on my phone. But you're just gonna hold in your mode button. It's gonna boop, 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 boop. Oh, our little invader's back. Telling me something. And you're gonna see your little BT, and it's going to start flashing, and you hear that little connect because it connects to my phone again, and it will flash to let you know it's connected. Your controls for your audio are here. You have your pause, forward, backwards. Volume is a long press of these, and you'll see it gives you a menu. Pretty loud. This thing is pretty loud, so you definitely want to make sure you don't blast it on that. FM radio is another click, and that will switch over to FM. I put this to a station that was not playing music, because even a couple of seconds of music and YouTube will
Smells like raspberries.
Will nail you for copyright violations. So you do need an antenna, and your USB cord actually makes a fantastic antenna. Otherwise, you can just sit there and hold it all day. But you hear this volume is actually very low for this. It goes up to like 30, so this is half volume, and it's actually pretty loud. As far as reception with it, like I said, use your USB cable as an antenna, and it just takes a little playing around to get a good channel out of this thing. So what we also have, as you can see, this is Bluetooth 4.2, which is the most current version of Bluetooth, and that does some cool things, and it allows you a little extra connectivity, and it doesn't mess as much with your text messages and things like that. You definitely want to read up on 4.2 because it does have some advantages. What I see here is a 3.7 volt, 2200 milliamp hour battery. So obviously I think this thing runs on probably 18650s. There may come a point where I try and take it apart and see, but we're not going to do that today. Because it would be cool if you could replace the batteries on this throughout time. So as I mentioned, I've had this thing on for 8 days with the display off, and it still has battery. Now, the cool part about this is it makes a really good travel clock. Being able to go and travel with this and not have to worry about finding a plug. Say you're traveling overseas and you don't have an adapter, this is something you can bring and charge with your USB power bank and still have time and alarm and all those functions you need. And you can see you have a couple different brightness modes. Now, of course, leaving the display on is going to drain the battery relatively quickly, but do you really need the display on all the time? No. So I don't leave the display on. It functions still. It plays music. It does all those other things with the display off. Your clock buttons are here, of course, pretty self-explanatory, holding in, then switch, all that. It's pretty simple. It's all in the instruction, guys. Alright, so I do find this to be a pretty useful piece of gear. I love Bluetooth speakers, and this is a fairly good quality Bluetooth speaker. In the $30 price range, I think this falls right about average as far as music quality with everyone else. It sounds decent, a little tinny, maybe a little hiss, but not too bad. It's really only noticeable when you blast it at the higher levels. But at 30, this is pretty loud, so I'm really never playing this on the highest volume. Anyway, at mid volumes, it sounds very good. I often keep this in my kitchen because, I like to be able to listen to music and things like that while I'm doing dishes and cooking and doing all that kind of stuff. And So it's kind of nice because I can just turn on my phone, keep my phone in my pocket, and run music or whatever, listen to the radio through this thing. And the fact that I can pick it up and bring it with me without plugs is awesome as well. This is also a fantastic backup for when the power is out. You know, we do have to get up and go to work and do all that stuff, and hey, most of us here are some kind of prepper watching this, so, you know, the ability to have an alarm clock, you know, when your power is out long term is really cool as well. You know, there's a lot of battery operated one out there that take alkalines, but how long do those batteries last? A couple of days, you know? Some of them last like 12 hours. You know, this thing will last you, as I mentioned here, we've got 8 days on this without a recharge, and it still holds time. You can see here it's 10:36, and it still holds time. It's not even close to empty. It's still got tons of juice, and this thing will really work long term. Where if you had an issue where your power was out for 10, 12 days, you have an alarm clock. You know, so cool. You know, so overall, I find this thing really super useful as far as around the house. I'm big on. I really like the Bluetooth speakers. You know, we do listen to a lot of music here. You know, and all that. Plus, you know, sometimes I like listening to audiobooks and things like that. If the kids are hogging the TV, you know, sometimes maybe I'll put in an audiobook or something like that. So I do quite a bit with it. You know, I do like that function that you can put an SD card, because I do have a little Bluetooth thing in my car that uses an SD card, and I have a bunch of music on that. So you can put audiobooks and stuff like that in there and work. Obviously, you can turn this thing off as well to conserve that battery, which is cool because a lot of them don't have a mechanical on or off. It's an electronic switch, and it can be very easy. No, this actually has a slider for on and off. So yeah, I mean, it's got temperature as well, as I mentioned. I don't know how to change this over to Fahrenheit, but this thing is fairly bright. You know, the dim is fairly dim, the medium, and bright. You know, it's actually pretty bright when in a dark room. So yeah. There's a lot of good stuff going on with this, and definitely something, if you are interested in this sort of item, to take a look at. You know, I like these multi-purpose items, and this is something, you know, if I go on vacation, this is probably something that's going to go with me. You know, I love going on vacation, you know, sitting on a porch somewhere on a beach or whatever, and being able to listen to the tunes you want, you know, and all that stuff. So, handy thing for me. I definitely see a lot of use for this with me. And maybe you guys as well, you know, but I just like throwing these little things out here so you guys can kind of see them and evaluate. It does suck, you know, I hate that YouTube is so strict about music. I would love to crank some music on here so you can hear the music quality, but in the end, you know, it only takes 3 strikes now and you can lose your channel, so it's just not worth risking it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little clock speaker.